Good afternoon, folks. Today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. This is the City of Lowell Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board meeting. My name is George Caloris. I'll be your administrator. Welcome. I'm going to start with the roll call. When and if you hear your name and you're present, please say here. Austin Ball.
Here.
Kelly Oakes.
Here.
Eric Nelson.
Here.
Valerie Opara.
Here.
Ty Char is absent. Kathy Mercado will be joining us via Zoom. I'd like to get a motion.
I'll make a motion to call the meeting to order.
I get a motion from Valerie Opara to call the meeting to order, seconded by Austin Ball. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. I'd like to get a motion to approve the minutes from the February 18th, 2026 Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 18th meeting.
Motion made by Valerie Opara, seconded by Austin Ball. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. We have some continued business from our February meeting. It's an update from the CPC application that we submitted, and it came from March 5th of 2026 for the $310,000. We were awarded the $310,000 from the CPC, so congratulations to the board. Great job. We do not have to follow the same ARPA rules as we did with our initial funding money. So that's great news. Great job, guys. Congratulations. Any discussion on those funds, on that $310,000? Anybody have any questions?
No, not at this time.
Thank you. Val? Okay, we're going to move to some new business. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Kelly Oakes. She's the City of Lowell auditor. She's here to discuss the payment and the collection of the structure of the Bob Cox loan that we awarded for the $500,000 at 2% at the 30-year amortization. Does anybody have any questions for Kelly to start? Question about a payment?
The term of the loan, Kelly, again? How long?
It's a 360-month, 30-year mortgage.
Okay.
Kelly, what is the monthly payment on the loan?
Yeah, the monthly payment is $1,848.10.
Kelly, when is the first payment due?
I mean, it wasn't stated in the promissory note, but typically, the loan closed on February 13th, so I would estimate the first payment is due April 1st
Thank you.
of 2026.
Thank you, Kelly.
Mr. Cox mentioned that he'd like to pay it early. Did he indicate how early he'd like to pay it off?
If I can.
Yes, please.
So I did have a conversation with Mr. Cox today, actually earlier this morning. He indicated that for the first couple months, his plan would be to pay it on a monthly installment. He's waiting on a couple outside funding sources. Once those outside funding sources come in, his plan at that point in time is to make a balloon payment to pay off the full monty of the loan. But at that point in time, he's still figuring out some logistics for the funding, but he said he thinks sometime, hopefully the middle of the summer to the beginning of the fall, is what he told me. But he wanted me to make sure that that wasn't set in stone, but.
Thank you,
So
Austin.
just some things on that. So I think my understanding of the initial term of the loan was more of a short-term loan, even though we may have that longer amortization. If he pays us back this summer, we still have the $3 million that we need to place this year. I think it almost defeats the purpose of it coming back that quickly. So I think initially, when it was first presented, this was like a year or two loan, which would, we'd put the money out for a year, we'd get some interest on it, it would come back and we could reinvest it. So I think we have a challenge to put out the initial $3 million, this year. I think if we get, this back this year,
Can we get clarification on that?
Sure, so absolutely. So once the money goes out the door, any payment back to us does not count against us spending down that money. So per the ARPA guidelines, once the money goes out the door, it is then obligated, and therefore it becomes off our books until we get that money back. Then that money will then sit back into the trust, and then we can expend that money once it comes back to the trust. We are in no obligation to fund $500,000 for Mixler Cox, have them pay us back again, and then that $500,000 doesn't go on top of the $3 million that we already have. Now, it is completely, I would like to mention, it is completely within the board's wish, if they would like to structure the loan in a different way, shape, or form, that is 100% within the board's jurisdiction. That is something we could look to do, maybe not necessarily with Mr. Cox's loan, but loans moving forward. If that is something the board would like to do, have a shorter-term note, that is something we can have the law department draft.
Yeah, I think that's something we should look at going forward.
Point well taken. Thank you. Okay, so we're safe there. Any other discussion about that payback on the Bob Cox loan? Any questions, anybody? Kelly, you have the floor.
I just have a question in terms of loan servicing in the future. So, for this loan, perhaps it's going to be more short-term and paid off quicker. We can handle accounting for that. But just, as the trust does make loans, it would be difficult for my office. I mean, I'm not an expert in loan servicing and whether there's any reporting required for that. So I would just recommend maybe the trust think about a third-party loan servicer. I know the DPD department with their CDBG loans and their home loans, they use Enterprise Bank, now Rockland Trust, as the loan servicer.
We'll take that advice. We'll look into that to get a loan servicer for the funds. We'll be on that. Thank you, Kelly. Great suggestion. Any other discussion about the loan? Any questions? Folks, anyone? All good? Okay, our schedule for our next meeting would be next month, April 15th, 2026. Same place, 4:30 here at the Mayor's Reception Room. Any other discussion on that? Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion made by Eric Nelson to join the meeting, seconded by Austin Ball. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, meeting adjourned. Thank you, folks.